Move over, Velcro. A gecko-inspired technology is creating quite a sticky situation on the space station. The Gecko Gripper is a device that can stick on command in the harsh environment of space. I spoke with Aaron Parness, the principal investigator, to learn more about the inspiration behind this adhesive technology.
Our experiment is inspired by the toe pads of gecko lizards. And so we're testing a gripper that uses the same kind of adhesive structure that you see on the animal.
Now you say they have tiny hairs on their toes.
Yeah, geckos grow really amazing structures on the pads of their toes. It's a forest of hairs that branch out into even smaller structures that are actually at the nanoscale. And that lets it stick to almost anything.
So adhesion, what are we trying to adhere to?
So there are lots of applications in space that you would want adhesion for. What's special about gecko adhesives is that they're controllable. You can turn the stickiness on and off. So for instance, you could use it on the foot of a robot that could crawl around the outside of the space station, or on a gripper that would be able to anchor to something like the surface of a solar panel or a piece of orbital debris, and then release it when you've put it where you want to.
Pretty important for spaceflight
Yeah.
and future spaceflight.
The applications are pretty broad and pretty large. For this experiment, we're just testing inside the station. It's the first test of a gecko adhesive in space. We're going to demonstrate the technology, make sure it works the same way it does on Earth, and see how it does in long duration microgravity.
Okay, and let me just get this straight. We're not talking about real gecko hair, right?
Not real geckos. They're the inspiration.
Right,
So
okay,
we study
all right.
real geckos, but we make the material in my lab back at JPL. It's a rubber-like material.
This is pretty much a lifelong project for you, right? I mean, how
Yeah.
did this begin?
I've been working on gecko adhesives for over 10 years now. It was actually the topic of my PhD thesis at Stanford University, and we've been trying to apply that to space applications.
So when we see it on orbit, what's going to happen? What are the procedures?
So we're sending up 5 small gecko grippers, and the crew will perform experiments with them to measure their effectiveness on different surfaces inside the station. We're going to leave some of those grippers in place for a full year and show that this material doesn't wear out. We're really excited. It's the first experiment for gecko adhesives in space, but we think there'll be many more in the years to come.
Is this your first experiment?
It is. It's my first experiment, my first hardware that's going to space. Extremely excited to see something you invented, something that your name is on the patent, and it's actually going to get used and hopefully help the crew and help our goals in space. It's very fulfilling.
I can already see us on store shelves too.
There are a lot of terrestrial applications as well. A few companies are trying to commercialize gecko adhesives. The first one might be inside the factory, picking up cereal boxes or flat screen TVs and packaging them or moving them around. In the long term, though, you might see these replacing Velcro on your clothes, or even to hang pictures on your walls.